It looked like the writing was already on the wall. Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed face of the Chicago Sky's rebuild, had finally reached her breaking point. The losses, the drama, the headlines, all of it was catching up to her. But no one expected her next move to be this bold. In an interview with the Chicago Tribune, Reese didn't just air out her frustrations. She set the entire franchise on notice. "We're not doing the same thing this offseason that we did last offseason," she said. "Stop bringing me bums to play with." Just like that, Angel Reese had declared war on her own locker room. Her message was loud and clear. Chicago needed stars, and she wasn't going to settle for anything less. "We have to get good players. We have to get great players," she insisted. "That's a non-negotiable for me." But what made the statement sting wasn't just the arrogance, it was the timing. Reese, the rookie phenom who had been hyped as the WNBA's next great personality, was leading the league in turnovers despite missing several weeks of play. She wasn't dominating games. She wasn't carrying her team. She was barely surviving on the court, and yet she was already demanding a roster overhaul. Imagine that for a second. A player whose team had bent over backwards to build around her, publicly calling out her own teammates for not being good enough. The irony couldn't be sharper. Because just days after that interview hit, the Sky's supposed franchise cornerstone didn't make headlines for a breakout performance. She made them for a suspension. Angel Reese had racked up her 8th technical foul of the season, an automatic one-game ban under WNBA rules. The moment it happened, fans couldn't help but notice the irony. The player screaming for greatness couldn't even stay on the floor long enough to lead her team. Inside the Sky locker room, chaos was brewing. League sources described the mood as tense. Veterans were furious, young players were confused, and management was scrambling to keep things from collapsing completely. A team meeting had to be called just to address Reese's comments. Think about that. Your rookie forward talks so much trash that the entire team has to sit down and sort through the fallout. That isn't leadership. That's damage control. It wasn't just her words about the team in general either. One of Reese's most disrespectful comments was aimed at Courtney Vandersloot, a name that carries enormous weight in women's basketball. Vandersloot is a veteran, a champion, and a floor general known for her class and consistency. She's the kind of player any young star should look up to. But Reese brushed her aside as if she were just a relic of a bygone era. "We can't rely on Courtney to come back at that age," she said. "We need someone younger with experience, someone who's played the game and competed for championships." That hit deep. Vandersloot wasn't just some bench player nearing retirement. She's a 2-time WNBA champion, a 5-time All-Star, and one of the best passers the league has ever seen. Dismissing her like an afterthought didn't just alienate one player, it insulted the entire generation of veterans who paved the way for young athletes like Reese. But the real kicker? The Sky had already tried to give Angel what she wanted. Earlier that season, Chicago's front office had traded away promising rookie Sonia Citron, who went on to become an All-Star, to bring in Ariel Atkins, an established championship-caliber guard. The message from management was clear. "We're going to win, and we're building around you." Yet Reese acted like the franchise wasn't doing enough. The very people who sacrificed their long-term future for her were being thrown under the bus before the season was even over. And the more Reese talked, the worse things got. Reportedly, her comments didn't just rub teammates the wrong way, they fractured the locker room entirely. Veterans like Atkins and Rachel Banham were offended. Younger players like Haley Van Lith felt dismissed. Everyone started questioning the same thing. Was Angel Reese really the leader she thought she was? Because when you look at her play, the cracks become impossible to ignore. Yes, she averaged around 15 points and 12 rebounds, solid numbers on paper. But those stats mask the bigger problem. Reese led the entire league in turnovers with over 100 giveaways in just 26 games, and 20% of her shots inside 9 feet were being blocked. Those aren't the numbers of a dominant big. Those are the numbers of a player forcing plays that aren't there. Someone trying to be a superstar before they've earned the right to be one. Then came the suspension. 8 technical fouls in one season, the threshold that triggers an automatic game ban. And it couldn't have come at a worse time. The Chicago Sky were set to play the Indiana Fever in a nationally anticipated matchup. Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark, the two rookies whose rivalry had been fueling headlines all year. Fans had been waiting for it. But Reese wouldn't even be in uniform. She'd earned herself a seat on the sidelines for striking Aaliyah Edwards in the head during a rebound battle. Whether it was intentional or not, the officials saw enough. The league made its call. That's not leadership. That's self-sabotage. And here's the truly brutal part. Chicago actually played better without her. The ball movement improved. The defense tightened. Players who had looked hesitant suddenly played with confidence. It was as if removing the self-appointed star had lifted a weight off everyone else's shoulders. Usually a franchise player's absence makes a team crumble. In Reese's case, it made them breathe. So what happens when the player who demands a roster overhaul becomes the one her own team needs to move on from? That's exactly the corner Angel Reese has backed herself into. And while she was burning bridges in Chicago, across the conference, Caitlin Clark was doing the exact opposite in Indiana. The difference couldn't be clearer. Clark has been under one of the brightest spotlights any rookie has ever faced. Every game, every interview, every facial expression has been dissected by media and fans. But through it all, she's carried herself with poise and professionalism. Even when injuries sidelined her, she stayed present, traveling with the team, sitting courtside, cheering her teammates on. That kind of presence doesn't go unnoticed. It builds culture. It earns respect. Meanwhile, when Angel Reese went down with her injury, she didn't travel. She didn't show up for her team. She stayed away. Her coach called it focusing on rehab, but fans saw it differently. They saw a player who disappeared when things got tough. Clark's leadership has been everything Reese's hasn't. When Caitlin faced adversity, she responded with composure. When she was asked about opponents, even rivals like Reese, she offered praise, not pettiness. After one game, Clark even credited Angel Reese for playing well, a gesture of sportsmanship that reminded everyone why she's already becoming the face of the league. While Reese used interviews to criticize her teammates, Clark used hers to build people up, and it shows on the court. When Clark plays the Fever play better, her vision and passing elevate everyone. Aaliyah Boston dominates the paint. Kelsey Mitchell thrives from deep, and Sophie Cunningham fits perfectly into the spacing Clark creates. The Fever aren't just a better team statistically with Clark, they're a better unit. There's trust. There's chemistry. There's belief. Compare that to Chicago. The Sky are a 10-win team buried at the bottom of the standings, consumed by locker room drama and finger-pointing. Their supposed cornerstone has become their biggest question mark. Fans aren't asking if Angel Reese will lead them to a championship, and they're asking if she even cares about basketball anymore. Rumors swirled that Reese might sit out the rest of the season to focus on off-court projects. It was the kind of headline that perfectly summed up where things stood. While Clark was grinding through adversity and winning over fans with every press conference, Reese was vanishing behind excuses and controversy. And here's the real tragedy. The Sky believed in her. They gave her the keys to the franchise. They let her shape the roster, drive the culture, define the future. But instead of leadership, they got turmoil. Instead of results, they got drama. Now, as the season winds down, the contrast between these two stars couldn't be more glaring. One is leading a playoff push, selling out arenas and rewriting the WNBA's narrative for a new generation. The other is facing suspension, criticism, and growing whispers that she might not even finish the season with her team. Caitlin Clark represents everything the league wants its stars to be: competitive, humble, team first. Angel Reese, at least right now, represents what happens when hype runs ahead of growth. And as Chicago fans watch Indiana rise, it's impossible not to wonder what might have been if Reese had taken a page from Clark's playbook. Because leadership isn't about sound bites. It's not about calling out teammates or demanding greatness. It's about being the example others want to follow. Clark has done that. Reese hasn't. And as the Sky stumbled toward another disappointing finish, the question hanging over the franchise is the one no one in Chicago wants to ask aloud. Was Angel Reese ever the right player to build around? Let us know what you think down in the comments. Are you Team Clark, the baby goat, or Team Reese, the self-proclaimed Bayou Barbie who might be running out of chances? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown like this one. Because if the WNBA drama keeps unfolding like this, we've only just begun to see how deep the story really goes.